Hello and welcome to this EPM Solutions demonstration of Project Server 2010 Portfolio Analysis. In this stage, Carol analyzes the competing requests in the proposal to identify a project portfolio that best aligns with the organization's business strategy under varying cost and resource constraints. Using Project Server 2010 new portfolio selection and analytical capabilities, Carol has the right tools to help Contosa's executive teams select the right things. The Business Driver Library in Project Server 2010 allows capture and communication of the business drivers defined by the executive team. The following information is captured for each business driver. The driver name and description. By capturing a name and description for each business driver, analysts can better communicate the intent of each driver, reducing ambiguity. The departments. The flexibility of the solution allows organizations to have a single set of business drivers across the entire organization, or provides the freedom to associate specific sets of drivers to multiple departments. The project impact statements are used to ensure the objectivity of driver assessment and clearly communicate the thresholds for each of the impact ratings. Project impact statements are derived from the key performance indicators, or KPIs, used to measure each business driver. So let's close the driver form. And let's look at driver prioritization. Project Server 2010 includes a business driver prioritization capability that helps executives objectively prioritize their business drivers using a pairwise comparison technique. Let's open the business driver priorities for the CIO. As this analysis has already been completed, we first see the business driver priorities for the CIO. This normalized score makes it easy to assess the relative importance of each business driver for the upcoming planning period. By clicking on the Prioritize Drivers button in the ribbon, we can step back the process to see how the drivers were prioritized. The new tabular user interface makes it easy to compare and contrast each business driver. The user simply reads the table from the left to right and selects the appropriate value from the drop-down list. After stepping through the intuitive wizard to compare all drivers, the system derives the normalized priority score for the business drivers. The business driver priorities are used to help derive a strategic value score for each project based on the impact assessment undertaken in the business case. Carol can easily analyze the portfolio to identify the optimal project portfolio under varying cost and resource constraints by clicking on the Portfolio Analysis link. Note that normally the analyst would create a new analysis by defining the appropriate properties. To save time, we will launch a saved analysis. By clicking Portfolio Analysis, Carol is taken to a list of saved analysis, for example, the FY11 Portfolio Analysis. Carol can intuitively select the buttons in the ribbon to walk through the best practice portfolio selection methodology. By clicking on Prioritize Projects, the impact matrix is displayed. This matrix shows how the competing projects on the rows support the business drivers on the columns, defined by the executive team. The impact assessments for each project are pulled in from the business case. By clicking on Review Priorities, Project Server 2010 derives a strategic value score for each of the project requests. Having prioritized the competing projects, Carol can run cost constraint analysis. The Cost Constraint Analysis view provides an intuitive portal to help executives identify the best mix of projects under varying cost constraints. This powerful what-if analysis tool uses sophisticated optimization algorithms and embedded best practices to help executives quickly determine the optimal project portfolio. The solution first calculates a baseline scenario based on all projects being selected. As you can see, Contoso can achieve 100% of the value from the portfolio for approximately $20 million. This baseline scenario is plotted on the efficient frontier chart and used as a benchmark to compare all subsequent scenarios. The efficient frontier and strategic alignment charts are two out-of-the-box reports that provide valuable insight. Based on the total cost and the strategic alignment of all projects included in this analysis, their strategic alignment chart helps Carol to compare the percentage of cost to the priority value of each business driver. Carol can use the strategic alignment chart to see if the current investments align with the overall business strategy. Like other companies, Contoso has IT budget constraints. Carol reduces the available budget to approximately $12 million. Carol clicks the Recalculate button. The algorithm maximizes the value gained from the portfolio under the cost constraint employed while considers inter-project dependencies. The intuitive view groups selected and unselected projects accordingly so it's easy to determine which are included or excluded. Carol would like to save this analysis so that she can later refer to it and compare it with other scenarios. She names this scenario 12 million. Carol wants to see what would happen if she reduced the budget to 10 million. The analysis capabilities allow her to easily model different scenarios by further refining the cost constraints. This new analysis excludes more projects from the scenario. Even though the budget has been reduced to approximately 50% of the original, Contoso can still derive approximately 79% of the benefits of the original portfolio value. Portfolio optimization ensures that Contoso enacts an optimized set of projects that can return the maximum value from a minimum investment. Carol saves this scenario. She names this scenario 10 million. Although the portfolio optimization algorithm is intended to maximize companies' returns, the forced in and forced out features help Carol to override the algorithm and specify projects that should be included or excluded in the portfolio for compliance or other reasons. Carol finds that one of Contoso's compliance projects, EPM Solutions, was not selected during portfolio optimization. Carol forces the portfolio to include the EPM project. This marks the EPM Solution project as selected. The automated software installation projects and the software development project have also been selected, though they have very low priorities. This is because there is a mutually inclusive dependency among these three projects. If one project is forced in, the others will also be selected. Note that you can review all project dependencies by returning to where the existing portfolio analyses are listed and then clicking Dependencies in the Analysis tab. Carol saves this scenario. Carol names the scenario 10M Force In. Carol can compare all three scenarios that she has created. She can see the projects and the perceived value of each project in each scenario. By clicking Compare, Carol opens another browser that displays all saved scenarios, making it easier to compare and contrast the projects. Carol can also see which projects were included or excluded and review key metrics in each scenario. For example, the number of projects selected, value, and cost. Having analyzed the portfolio from a financial perspective, Carol can now assess the portfolio through a resource lens. The resource constraint analysis ensures organizations can identify resource surplus and deficits at the skill level, move projects within the horizon to maximize resource utilization, and model headcount scenarios. The resource constraint analysis view shows the projects selected in the cost constraint analysis in priority order. The system automatically determines, based on the priority score, resource demand for each project and overall resource availability when projects can be 100% resourced. These projects are displayed under the selected grouping. Carol wants to analyze why some of the projects have not been selected. She uses the Requirement Details view to compare resource requirements with overall resource availability. The top pane shows resource availability by role, and the bottom shows resource requirements by project. We can use the Hide Metrics button to fit the complete view of the fiscal years on the screen. By enabling the Highlight Deficit checkbox, Carol can quickly identify that based on the current project schedules, there's a resource shortfall in the first half of the fiscal year. She can also quickly determine that there is a capacity in the second half of the year, suggesting that Contoso could better utilize available resources by changing the start dates of some of the impacted projects. Carol can further drill down to understand which roles are overallocated by scrolling down the top pane of the view. She sees that there is a legal team shortage in September and a marketing team shortage in December. She scrolls down further and sees that the testers are unavailable in October and November. To analyze which projects are affected, she uses the bottom pane to collapse all selected projects and see the projects that are unselected. Carol notices that the new office development project needs 1.35 FTE from the legal team in September. Remember, the legal team only had 0.77 FTE available in this month. Carol again can revert to the top pane and see that there are available resources from the legal team in the second half of the fiscal year. By changing the project start date to later in the year, Carol can better utilize available resources. Carol changes the start date from July 2010 to December 2011. This new information does not overwrite the original data. After recalculating, the new Office Development project is selected. Carol can complete this exercise to see if additional projects can be selected by delaying the start dates. Next, Carol can run headcount analysis. Hiring additional resources is another way to ensure a project can be fully resourced and selected in the analysis. Carol types 2 in the Hire Resources row and clicks the Recalculate button. With 2 additional resources, Carol notices that an additional project is selected, increasing the portfolio value to 67%. She can now use the Hired Resources report to understand which resources need to be hired and the potential cost of using them. This view shows that one marketing resource and one legal resource need to be hired at a cost of approximately $180,000 for the entire fiscal year. Note that similar to saving the cost analysis, Carol can save scenarios and compare side by side. Having run both the cost constraint and the resource constraint analysis, the portfolio analyst can commit the selected projects. This action moves the selected projects to the next step in the workflow.